Dragons. We're going to draw dragons today. So the first thing we want to do is come in here and draw the basic shape of our dragon's head. We want to lightly bring in the circular shape of that dragon's head. Right? The basic shape is just a circle. Right? And then we will have the snout, the bridge of the nose and the snout of the dragon. It's like the shape of a it's a rectangle, right? A three-dimensional rectangle. So I'm going to lightly draw this in here just to get the shape of the nose of the dragon, right? And the same thing up through here for the neck, right? We could easily turn this into a horse, but today it's going to be a dragon. All right, so we have the basic shape of our dragon's head, right? All right, the eyes will be located right about in this area. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back through and I'm going to start refining the shape of this dragon's head. Now this dragon's head has some spikes on it, many spikes actually. Comes down like this, and then the nose area, this curves right here, and then the mouth comes up through like this. And then same thing for the bottom part of the lip here. And then the jaw comes out a little bit here. We'll draw in the eye. Now the eye is shaped by the brow here, right? This defined brow that's above the dragon's eye. Bring in the iris, the colored part of the eye. On a dragon, dragons have eyes that are shaped like a cat's eyes or a serpent's eye. Leave a little bit of a white reflection inside that eye. All right, where the tear duct would be located, we want to place that in there. And then the bottom lid, the bottom eyelid of this dragon, draw that in. All right, looking pretty good. We're going to bring in the nostril so our dragon can breathe. I'm going to bring in a shadow right there where the nose is, where the nostril is actually. This mouth line wants to be thin. And we want to bring in the bridge of the nose. The bridge of the nose has these dragon fireproof plates onto the bridge of the nose and the bridge of the face there. These plates are in a V shape type pattern. All right, so what I'm trying to do right now is just really block in my shapes. Try to get those shapes where they should be located to help shape the face, because every dragon has a particular shape and unique quality. All right, so this dragon has a variety of different plates on its face. It's like its armor. It has to have armor so it can protect itself from predators and danger. All right, and then we're going to come through here. Now, this dragon has some plates on its face that are very hard. And then right below the eyelid, I would say this is going to be a little softer. So that way the eye can move and stretch to look in all directions. So I think this would be a little bit more softer area of the face. And add in some shadows right there around the face here. Adding in those shadows helps create contrast and a 3D quality. So these little small spikes that are on the face here. Over here on the nose, we're going to go ahead and draw an indication of the snout. Not the snout, but the nostril that's on that side of the face. And then some indications of very subtle indication of the plates on the front of the mouth area. Right, they're like oval shapes. All right. Put in some shadows. We're going to put a spike right underneath its jawline here. Create some texture. Go ahead and make this a little bit smaller so we can see what we're drawing. That's better. Some shadows underneath the chin here. Another spike that's over on this side. Maybe a baby spike right here. See that? I'll put a shadow right underneath the jawline here. Just like that. And actually we're going to go ahead and draw in a little bit of a spike that is right here. Another one right here. And notice how the spikes or the plates overlap each other. It's important to give that illusion. Helps to make that 3D quality of your dragon and make it believable that this dragon exists. All right. Shade in there by the plates here, because there always will be a little bit of a shadow. These plates are casting on one another. Then we'll draw in this. This is like a spike here that sort of forms around the neck area of the dragon's neck. And same thing here, another triangular shape. And then some small little spikes around the top part of the eye. All right. So as you draw in these spikes here, you want to make sure that you are putting these spikes in a curved fashion to curve around the head. All right, because the head is curved. And now I'm just going to go through and just darken up some of these areas around the spikes and plates of the dragon's head. We're going to draw one large type of horn. All right, this dragon's going to have 2 horns. And then the horn has a few lines in it to create the contours of this horn and also the textures. All right, this horn has a different texture than everything else this dragon has on its head. Notice how I try to keep the lines curved, create the illusion that this horn has form. I'll come through here and add some shadows. A few dots and textures along the horn area. These textures really bring out the details and the believability that this horn actually exists. And creates that 3D quality. All right, go ahead and bring in some horns around the neck area. A few spikes, I should say, not horns, but spikes. Right through there, put a few more. Yeah, this dragon has a lot of spikes. And draw in a few of the plates that run in this direction now. Just like this. Put a shadow underneath this spike, and that really will push that spike forward so we can see it better. It's kind of like a push and pull. All right, you want things to go backwards, further into space, and you want some things to come more forward. All right, some textures around here, around this part of the dragon's neck. Bring in a few more spikes right back around this end of the neck, this back side of the neck. All right, it's looking pretty good. I'm just bringing in a few lines and texture lines here. Give a sense of texture and form and then some lines along the neck area. Don't think too hard on how to draw these lines. Just let the pencil do the work. Just test out different shapes. But one thing that's important is notice how my lines curve along with the direction of the curve of the neck. Right? And we'll bring in a few plates behind this horn here. I know I jump around my paper a lot, don't I? Yeah, I jump around a lot. Maybe I get bored in some parts when I'm there too long and I want to go somewhere else. But all this time that I'm doing this, I'm always observing how can I improve those details that I have on my drawing and how to improve them to make it look much better. All right, now we got to draw the other horn here. I'm going to go ahead and resize this drawing. It's getting bigger than my drawing board here. I'm going to go ahead and draw in the other horn right up through here. Just like this. This one will appear a little smaller because it's further away than the other horn. Bring in some spikes on here. Right? A couple of spikes that overlap each other. Just like that. Bring in a few of those texture lines, these contour lines. It helps give your drawing a 3D quality and realism, a sense of realism to your overall drawing. Bring in some shadows and some textured lines and dots. Underneath the eye, I'm going to go ahead and shade a little bit underneath the eyelid so that eyelid will stand out just a little bit more. Right? It's called contrast. Just like that. Just like that. Darken in some of these plates on the bridge of the dragon's nose. And we'll go ahead and bring in some lines on these plates. Just create texture and just create texture. Underneath the mouth, we're going to go ahead and bring in some shapes here to give the skin of this dragon's skin some texture. What I'm making are just very basic oval shapes. Curve lines, S lines, C lines. All right, some circles, some curve lines that overlap one another. Looks pretty good. Now what I'm doing is just trying to beef up some of the contrast in those areas and also bring in textures. So I really want this dragon to appear 3D. of this part above the eye. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just putting in all these subtle details. These details are very critical, even though they're small details, but they are very, very important to your overall drawing. Now I'm just coming in and bringing in shadows and darker areas to beef up the contrast of this overall drawing of a dragon. I'm thinking I'm going to make some changes to the snout and nose area of the dragon. I'm not too happy with the results, so I'm going to come in and erase some of the dragon's nose here and then reshape it to get it to a better look. I'm going to widen the jaw area, add in another spike. And I think this will have more of a better aesthetic to the overall drawing and presentation of this dragon. Sometimes you got to do things like that to your artwork. You spend all that time trying to create a really good drawing, but you got to make a choice once in a while. You can either keep it or modify it to where you're happy. And I think this area here needs to be erased as well and redrawn. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. Many times as you're drawing, you have to make these hard choices, but it's good to pull yourself back from your artwork and just double check those areas that need to be improved. And it may take a little extra time. It's really gratifying when you have a piece of artwork that comes together. It is done well. Because I know when I've looked at my artwork from, many years ago, I always think to myself, man, I could have done something a little bit different. I could have done it a little bit better. If I would have just taken that extra time and care. And plus, I'd like to produce the best possible artwork that I can do for you, for all my students and those who want to look in on my drawing process. So this is for each of you while I spend the extra time on my artwork. All right, there you go. Great job, everyone. There's our dragon.